Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we'll be doing the best items, aka the most optimal equipment that I've come up with my personal team. So let's quickly dive into this video. Let's start with the forwards immediately. So this is the best equipment that comes for the forwards. We have the spike boots, which are from the Spirit Shop. We have the Beast Bracelet, which I'm pretty sure is from the Chronicle mod. We have the Champion Scarf, which is from the Spirit Shop, and we have the Omega Bango, which is from the Chronicle mod shop. Now, the most interesting one in here is probably the Omega Bango. If you guys know the Pegasus sticker, it gives you a little bit more kick, but it does not give you any control whatsoever because it gives you technique. Meanwhile, the Omega Bango is much better for your forwards because it gives you just as much kick, 7 points less, but it gives you so much more control to the point where it just overcomes the Pegasus sticker and makes it completely useless. So for your forwards, you need those items for sure. If you're gonna play this character as a top midfielder in your team, if you're playing this formation, you can also set him as a forward. If not, you can probably give him the Pegasus sticker and probably give him something like Ancient Dark Boots and set him as a kind of a weird midfielder, but it doesn't really matter whatsoever. It's up to your choice once again. If you want to set him as a forward, you can use the same build as for your forwards. If you want to set him up as a top midfielder, you can give him the Pegasus sticker and maybe do a few more changes. Now for the midfielders in my team, there are two kinds of midfielders. There are aggressive midfielders, aka people that are gonna win me focus battles, and there are passive midfielders, which are kinda the opposite. They are the defensive midfielders. For example, this Tenma with an extreme amount of intelligence. Let's quickly go over the aggressive midfielders. So for them, the Ancient Dark Boots, they give you a lot of control, a lot of the technique. You can get them from the Chronicle mod shop. The Umbra Bango, I don't remember which shop this was from. It was probably either the PvP shop or the Chronicle mod. I'm so sorry, I sometimes forget. But this once again gives you a lot of control and technique, and that's what we want. We want to be putting a good fight in the focus battles. Now, something to quickly mention is that I've seen some people go with kick on their midfielders. It's okay, it still gives you a lot of focus battle value, but I rather have a little bit of intelligence. So if you guys want them to be better in focus battles, you can give them kicks. So they are still pretty good even for chains, but I would rather have the intelligence and not care about the kick value, because I found myself still being able to go through pretty easily without kick beans. The next item is the Emerald Necklace. This item comes from the Chronicle shop, I'm pretty sure. And the last one is the Pegasus sticker. Once again, it gives us a little bit more kick and it gives us more technique, like insane amount of technique. You can get this once again from the Spirit shop. So pretty much this is what I've come with the best offensive midfielder equipment. It's pretty simple, it's pretty lame. In my opinion, nothing too much to go over. Next is the defensive midfielder. Now this one is a little bit interesting. I'm still experimenting with it, so I would not say this is the best or the most optimal one. But what we have is the Genesis boots. You can get them from the Chronicle mod shop. We have the Moonlight bracelet. I think this was from the PvP shop. We have the Azure necklace. I think it was probably Chronicle mod. I'm not sure once again. And we have the new sports glasses. They are from the PvP shop. So as you can guys see, I've set him up as really high intelligence. And I've picked only items with really high intelligence for this midfielder. You can also build a defender similarly like that. Just give them a lot of intelligence. And it's still gonna be pretty decent. But I found myself that midfielders are kinda doing the job already, even a little bit better in some different situations. So that's as to why I am doing a defensive midfielder in my team. I just don't find myself needing a third offensive midfielder when I have a hero midfielder on top of a really one of the strongest midfielders in the entire game. Next up comes with the side defenders. Now, if you guys have seen a different video of mine, you guys know that Void Hisatsu on the side defender is really good. But let's go back to the items. We have the Genesis boots, once again, Chronicle mod shop. We have the Bracelet of Hope. I think it was PvP shop, but might be Chronicle. You guys will probably see on the screen if I edit it. We have the Kiddo's Mantle, this is from the Spirit shop. And we have the Professor Layton, this is from the PvP shop. That's how I've set up my side defenders. They are still pretty good when it comes to intelligence, but they have a lot of pressure and physical. Physical is most kinda important, although they're side defenders, but still, I've seen some people not play side defenders. I've seen them have a defensive midfielder on both these positions, and they have one main defender over here. I may try this at some point, but I don't think versus the best of the best players this works. Even though the best of the best players usually don't shoot like normal shots or chain, they just immediately shoot towards your goalkeeper without any Hisatsu. So I may try this at some point, but until then I have to find the best defensive midfielder equipment. I'm still experimenting once again. I'm so sorry that I have not come prepared with it. The next is your castle wall defenders. And something to quickly mention is that the community, when the game came out, or it was fairly new, they said that the Shadow Bango is better for side defenders. I mean castle wall defenders, I'm so sorry. But I've also find myself with the Bracelet of Hope, it still works just as fine. Now, of course, Torp is pretty shit, so don't watch his trash stats compared to Kazemaru. But we have the Protocol 3.0 shoes. You can get them from, once again, the Chronicle mod shop. We have either the Bracelet of Hope or the Shadow Bango. I think the Shadow Bango was from the PvP shop, but I'm not sure once again. I'm so sorry. Kiddo's Mantle from the Spirit shop. And then we have the Professor Layton from the PvP shop. Now, there is probably a better equipment where you can also put the Endo Talisman on your defenders. But I am not too sure, and besides I don't have that much to get it on all my defenders yet. But I found the Professor Layton to be just as good, if not it's still pretty viable and still pretty strong. It gives you really good stat buffs. Lastly, we have the Goalkeeper, and we have the Little Giant's boots. I am surprised that these are the best boots for a Goalkeeper, just because of the agility they give you on top of physical. These are probably the most important stats. There is also... where were they? There are also the Gal boots, but they don't give you as much physical and agility, so I would not advise you into using them. Next we have the Legendary Gloves. Of course, once again, a lot of physical, a lot of agility. What can you ask for? These you can get from the Spirit shop. The Little Giant's boots you can get from the Chronicle mod shop. The Guardian Necklace, this one you can get from the PvP shop. A lot of physical, a lot of agility. And then we have the Endo Talisman, pressure and agility. Once again, pretty good, pretty nice. That's how I've set up my goalkeepers. And that's how my defenders look. That's how my side defenders look. That's how my defensive midfielder looks. That's how my offensive midfielders look. And that's how my forwards look. And I think that's it for the equipment. There is nothing to say. Of course, all my characters on the bench also have the same equipment as the ones already on the field. So there is no need to show that. But let's quickly mention that they're gonna cap justice to 50%. Now, let me explain as to why that's helping more than it hurts justice. This may sound weird, but it fixes absolutely nothing. The thing is that this team, once the patch comes out, do you know what will change in it? Absolutely nothing. This team is still runnable, this team you can still play, this team you still have all your characters with max out justice. What is gonna change are the managers and the coach. Now, I can explain as to why that's gonna change. and probably it will make a little bit of sense. But pretty much with all of these characters on the field, we get 43% justice. We can set up one of these and we're gonna go up to 48. If I give this mayor 2 of these, we are already at the 50% cap. The rest, I can do whatever I want. So I can set up this Desta with whatever passives I want. And on top of that, I can set up my coach and those 3 passives on Maya with whatever I want. I think, obviously, tension would be really good. But not any kind of tension, guys. It's gonna be when at 50% tension, focus attack defense plus percentage. That's gonna be the best passive to run probably with Justice. Now some people may think, oh, but I would love to get more tension when winning a focus battle. Yes, that also sounds kinda good, don't get me wrong. But in the same time, as for me, I think I'm getting more than enough tension every single time. And on top of that, I'm using Mount Fuji, which is extremely strong and I heavily advise you into using. So I don't see myself running bonus tension when winning a focus or scramble. I see myself getting more focus attack defense when I have 50% tension than anything else. Another thing you can do is set up your managers and coach, or at least the rest of them, to have counter passives. For example, not any kind of counter passives, but kick shot power and probably a little bit of midfielder, even defenders focus when recovering the ball. Probably the midfielders are better just because, you know, you get the ball, then you can farm tension. But I think that's it for the prediction. The rest of the playstyles just don't really work. I would not want some breach passives. They seem useless. I would not want some rough play passives. Once again, they seem useless. So I would say losing 23% justice, but gaining still something out of it to the point where it's no difference. The only difference is just that, yes, your castle wall defenders will be a little bit worse. Your focus fights will be a little bit worse. And your kick stat will be a little bit worse. But you can still benefit by setting up your managers and coach to the point where they affect you just as much as they did before. So there is no difference. Like, absolutely does not fix anything. They put a cap so it fixes something, but in the same time, when it comes to teams like this, nothing will change. If you guys got in a hurry to change your team, well, yeah, you can probably get a few counter players in here and maybe keep those like that, but that's your personal choice. Once again, I don't think this team will be deleted from the game or anything in the near future. But as for those characters, they'll have to change their passives a little bit, just a tiny bit. But I think that's it for the video. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.